All right, everybody, this is Dr. Keith. Markets are closed, right? Hope you all had a good trading day. Okay, so today we're going to focus in on the Laguerre RSI. And part of that indicator I've got in there is the Fractal Energy that we'll talk about as well. Again, look forward to, if you have questions, we have the chat, Zoom chat webinar you can see there and type in any questions you have. And as I pause, I will go and look at questions and answer every question that's there, okay? So before we get started, again, I'm always going to show this slide for everybody to read, okay? It's really just telling you that you should not risk money in trading that you cannot afford to lose. Very important. You know, I do know people, friends, and family in the past that have risked money that they normally typically need to do to pay their rent. That's not good trading, folks, so don't do it. And definitely talk to your financial advisor if you have questions about money management. Okay, so my purpose today is, like I mentioned, to talk about the Laguerre RSI. It's a phenomenal oscillator. And I'm going to try to keep this to about roughly 45 minutes or so is my goal. That way I know you're all busy, and then leave room at all as well for any questions and answers, okay? So again, if you have any questions, type them in, and as I take breaks and pause, I will respond to those. So those of you that don't know me, maybe this is the first webinar that you've seen. Okay, big picture. Again, I'm going to make this quick today. I've got my PhD in finance, am a professor and professional trader, been trading and teaching for, since 2004 as far as a professor, and 2006 in the market, live market, okay? I do enjoy, all my trading is based off of high probability setups. And one of the reasons why I want to share the Laguerre RSI with you today is, part of my research as a university professor is to do research, part of my responsibilities, I should say. And so I've spent hours and hours and days over the last 10 plus years back testing different oscillators and modifying them myself. And over the last 2 years, I've been using this modified Laguerre RSI that I've put together, adjusted, and it's fantastic, especially for traders that are okay with not necessarily getting the exact bottom of a trade and then getting to the top of a trade, but getting the meat of the trade, okay? And this works in day trading, swing trading, and so forth, okay? All right, so again, today, we are going to talk a lot and give lots of examples about the Laguerre RSI, how I use it, how I run scans. We're going to look at live charts, and of course, there's going to be a special offer at the end, okay? Okay, so first and foremost, the Laguerre, it's an oscillator, okay? So obviously, when you hear Laguerre RSI, if you've never heard of it, you're thinking it's a lot like the RSI, right? Relative strength index. And certainly there's features that look identical to it, but it's different, okay? The RSI is going to have, the traditional RSI is going to have way more false signals. It's going to stay overbought or and so forth, shorter periods of time. You may have heard of a lot of different types of oscillators. You've probably tried a lot. And, feel free to type in any of them that you feel you want to talk about as well. But what I'm here to tell you is, from all the oscillators I've tested out, okay, the Stokes, there's so many oscillators out there that are, relatively, they work better than not using one as far as your entries, right? But the Laguerre RSI, the original form was developed by John Ehlers, and his goal was to avoid the whipsaws, okay? Because again, no matter how many years trading you have, whether you're just starting out or whether you have 30 years in trading, you need to understand that it's not about getting the entire move of a trade. Okay, so if an underlying goes from $10 to 20, if you can make even $5 or $6 out of that with higher probabilities, right? That's the way to trade, folks. Not trying to catch the top or trying to catch the bottom. And the reason why I even bring that up, yes, Stu, this is recorded. So after it's done downloading that after this presentation, it'll be sent out to all of you as well. That is correct. But it's about getting that I call it the meat of the trade, right? Because when you try to pick tops or bottoms, and so many of you do, because again, I've done a lot of research on this, and I have a lot of information that comes to me on, the sentiment of a particular underlying. If you look at this move up, for example, recently on the indexes, right? Like the ES, the E-minis, or the spiders, or the SPX, right? A couple weeks ago, 90% of retailer traders, probably all of us on this call right now, okay, on this webinar, we're short. We're all thinking we're at the top, okay? We like to do that, okay? And the reason I put me in that is I used to be like that when I first started trading, okay? But the reason we've gone higher is definitely, you can talk all you want about fundamentals, and that's certainly important to a point, because if companies don't make money, they're not doing well, we're not going to continue up for no reason, okay? But in saying that, the amazing thing about sentiment, for example, is if you know that retailers are extremely short something, it's unfortunate, but they're usually wrong. And they've been extremely short the indexes right now. So just by that, one indicator, I had a high likelihood we were going to hit new highs, which again, in my alert system, I talked about that. Okay, it's not rocket science at all. What it is looking at the data, looking at what traders are doing, knowing that historically most traders are wrong, unfortunately. Okay, and some of you are in there saying, well, yeah, I'm one of those. And what I'm going to show you today is much higher probability trading. Okay, so let's get at it. So again, this indicator that I'm going to show you today, I've modified it to be even a little bit more conservative, because again, going back from my original example, all you need to do is get a big portion of that trade to make money consistently. You don't have to catch the entire move, okay? So one of the biggest takeaways I want you to get out of today is that exact point. A lot of you are like, when you look at, you look at charts again, and you'll see that, hey, man, I could have made a lot more money on this trade, okay? It's always easy after the fact, right? But getting that, if you consistently get that meat, and you can win 8, 9 out of 10 trades with good risk management, you're going to grow your accounts, and you can quit your day job if you like, okay? And we're going to, again, we'll go over some live charts, give you some examples. All my systems that I trade are extremely easy, but they're powerful. Okay, that's my background. Having things that are powerful yet not overcomplicated. Okay, having too many indicators, you're never going to want to place a trade, and so forth. Okay. So let me get into it then. Well, we'll put it all together here in the next few slides. Okay. But the rule is for the Laguerre, if we're looking for longs, so we're looking for the buys here. Let me change color on that. Bear with me one second. If we're looking to buy, once it dips back, typically is the best trade. Okay. Once it dips and we get the move up right here, okay, that's when we look to take trades. We get the dip right here. That's when we look to take trades. So 1 and 2. And I didn't even show you the price right above in the chart. That's not the my plan for this particular slide. I just want to show you that right here and right here is what we're looking for, okay? Right here and right here. Can you all see that pointer? Can you see that now, Al? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. If the dip in, these are the highest probability. When it dips into the green, okay, and then when it closes above 0.2, okay, and I'm going to show you better, even higher probability techniques, but let's just start it with the base, okay, the base. Okay, so for a sell, it's the exact opposite, right? Right here. 1, 2, so 1, 2. Once it closes below 0.8, you might say, well, what about 0.9? Yes, if you're feeling aggressive, you got that Rocky music going, and you want to get in early, absolutely. Will you have more false signals? Yes, you will, okay? And that's okay based on your risk tolerance. But what I have found in most of my trades, I followed that rule at 0.8. Once it closes at 0.8 or below, short, or 0.2 and above, longs. Okay, that's simple. And one question that came up is what time frame? We're going to go over lots of examples. Most of what I'm going to show you today is going to be off the daily, but this is designed to work any time frame. Okay. In fact, the Laguerre RSI, when it was originally designed, was designed for day traders. Okay. My own personal trading, because of my lifestyle that I mentioned last week, right? I prefer to swing trade. But in saying that, I made modifications based off of swing trading. But the Laguerre, absolutely, and you can go, back test it on charts and so forth. Works phenomenal. 5-minute and 233 tick is what I use when I day trade. But you can use 15, hourly, 4 hour, whichever time frame you want, you're going to get it. The larger the time frame, right, the less false signals, and that's on any oscillator, no matter what people tell you, right? Because the more data points you have, the higher your probability. So what I like to do a lot of times is, let's say you like a trade, but it's already met the criteria and it's moved without you, right? We've all been there. Well, then you can go to the 4-hour chart, for example, and when you get another trigger on the 4-hour for the Laguerre RSI, then you can take it. But at least you have rules there, right? You tried it off the daily. Then once you try it off the daily, if you don't get the entry because it was too aggressive on you and it made the move without you, you can go to a 1-hour or 4-hour chart and look for that entry, okay? Yes, Anil. Okay, so the rules. 1, we want to buy when the Laguerre crosses above 0.2, or sell when it crosses below 0.8. I've highlighted this for you, okay? Because today, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about seasonality, right? Because a lot of you, from a lot of the feedback I've gotten, was you love seasonality. Right now, you don't have the money for the indicator. So that's why I'm showing you a system here that will increase your odds tremendously. If you only take the crosses in the overall direction of the trend, right? The trend is your friend. That never goes away, folks. You're improving your odds probably by 30%, folks, okay? I will trade trends and then so in this case, let's say we're in an uptrend, okay? Or I will trade sideways markets, okay? Like this. These have really good entries. And the good thing about the Laguerre RSI with these sideways markets, a lot of markets are sideways, right? Markets tend to do this, right? then they go up. They do this, then they go down. So you can make money in here as well when you have nice sideways markets as well. Okay, but what I won't do is if the trend is up right now and then I get a sell on the Laguerre, I don't take that. If it would have worked out, I don't care. Okay, what I do is I use that selling opportunity as, okay, it's retracing. We don't know how much, but then once it gets a signal long again, I can then take the long signal. Okay, that's the mentality you got to have. Stay in the direction of the trend. Okay, and then what I use with this system, one more part of the equation, right? I use Bollinger bands, okay? They're very easy to understand. They're highly effective, and I'll show you, okay? I'll show you how I use them. Very simple rules, okay? So that's where we're at so far. Roger, I'm going to put that on hold, and I will find out about that. Thank you. Okay, so let me see here. So one of the rules here for my Bollinger Band, and we're going to show examples. So no worries, okay? Remember, this is the professor side of me. I like to show the rule. So everything I do has rules. It doesn't mean you won't break them. Heck, I've broke my own rules, right? But it's about having rules so that you can then go and practice them, paper trade them, back test them. Anybody that doesn't give you specific rules, that's nonsense, okay? So the profit target is typically the next Bollinger Band, and I'll show that here in just a minute. Once I hit a profit target, you either take full profits if that's how you're trading, or if you take partial and then you continue to let it run, I move my stop to break even. Okay. Then you can exit at the Laguerre RSI trigger in the opposite direction, but again, you always have that break even stop so that you never turn a winning trade into a losing trade. My stop loss is then usually at either the bottom band or recent price swings, okay? And I say usually because it just makes sense. I usually go with the bottom band if I'm, and I'll explain why when we look at some of these slides coming up. But sometimes if there's the bottom band, there's more risk, but we have a recent price swing. Why have more risk if we don't need it, okay? And one question, which is fantastic, Anil says, how do you define trend? We're going to get into that when we get into live charts, okay? So if I don't hit it well enough, remind me. Great question. Very simple tactic on how I define trends, okay? Okay. And then another part of the indicator, which I'm going to show you here shortly as well, is the fractal energy. And I use it specifically if I'm looking to see if we're actually potentially at a top or a bottom, okay? So we're not going to spend a lot of time today on it, but this indicator comes with it, and I'll tell you specifically how I use it in some upcoming examples. Okay, so fractal energy is this gold line here, okay? I'm just going to kind of go around it. This is the fractal energy, that gold line, okay? And what this is showing you when it's heading up like this, as it's heading up, is basically, again, it's called fractal energy. It's energy heading into the market. It doesn't tell you the direction of the move, okay? That's not the goal of fractal energy. It's telling you that there's energy heading into the market. It can go up or down, right? And that's what we use the blue line for, the RSI line, which is this blue line, okay? But the fractal energy be good. So what happens is, if you're looking at a chart like we're going to do here real soon, If fractal energy is real, real low, like right here, and prices at an all-time high, let's say, what it's telling you is, you know how sometimes you get to an all-time high and then you start consolidating? And all the energy's gone, that's probably telling you you have a really good odds of this heading lower now, at least short term, because all that energy out of that run is gone, okay? Or let's say you're in an uptrend, you have a retracement, and then the fractal energy starts rising and you get a Laguerre trigger long. As the energy is rising, it's telling you that that move back up could be more substantial, okay? So that's really simple. And again, I use that not to get in or out of trades, but just to kind of gauge to verify, especially if you're looking at, okay, could this be a potential top or bottom, okay? Oh, Robert, yes, but you have to email me. That would be a separate, okay, not on the website. Okay. So now we're going to go over just a couple, I shouldn't say a couple, a few slides showing this, then we'll get to live charts. Okay, I know everybody loves live charts. So do I. I just like to show you initially while things are standing still, okay? So again, this is a daily chart right here. It could be any time frame though, okay? But right here is daily. This is the E-mini, the ES, okay? And this is this year. So first and foremost, one of the questions that comes up is how do I identify the trend, okay? And again, I'll show you this on live charts as well. But typically what I look for is over the last 9 months to year, so 9 months to a year, okay, is it heading up? And the best way to do that, folks, right, here's a bottom. Here's a bottom. Here's a bottom. Right? Are these lows, is this low and this low higher? If your answer is yes, right, which they are, then that's a definition of an uptrend. Okay? It's not rocket science. Okay? So when you start here and you're now getting higher lows, okay, these are higher lows. That's the definition of an uptrend. So you want to be in that trend, okay? It doesn't mean you can't short some of these, okay? Like this one here. But if you are going to short it, there's more risk. That's all. So you have to understand that, okay? Like if we would have taken this trade right here, at this trigger right here, okay? As long as you're okay by putting a stop right above that recent swing, you can take that. You would have come, well, actually, you would probably would have got stopped out to the tick, right? We've all been there, right? And then it would have rolled over on you and you've been pissed. We've all been there. They're not out to get you. That's the way the markets work, right? So again, I don't typically take those trades unless I have seasonality really in my favor. I wait for the retracements here. And then when I get the trigger long, that's what I go for. Okay, this is a recent great trade right here. We had sentiment in our favor, like I was telling you about. We got the trigger long. We also have seasonality to the long side. Okay, perfect scenario today to hit recent highs. Okay, should have been no surprise just by following the data, the facts. Okay. So again, this works on all time frames. You can day trade, swing trade. Yes, 95% of my trades using this currently is swing trading just because of my lifestyle, okay? Just because of my personal choices. All right. I also mentioned that I use a scanner to find these trades, okay? And again, I'm going to show you this very soon now live, and then I'll get to questions as well. But what I have is in Thinkorswim, right, you have these custom watch lists you can do, whether they're all the futures, all the Forex, all your options. You can create your own, okay? Well, what I do is I added this script in here, and it tells me when things are triggering at 0.8, 0.2. So then it'll show up on here. as a long or a short. And the yellows are when it's 0.1 or 0.9, again, being more aggressive or just kind of an FYI, okay? I don't usually take the yellows, okay? And what they do is they stay that color for 2 extra days. Why is that, you say? That way, if you don't trade every day, you can still look at something to decide, hey, it triggered, wait a minute, it triggered a day ago, though, I'm just going to hold off. So you just go to the next one then if you want, okay? But in the script, I purposely kept it there for the day it triggers, where it closes above 0.8 or 0.2, or 0.1 or 0.9 for the yellow, and then it stays 2 additional days on there for you. Then after that, it'll go back to neutral, okay? Think of the power of that, and I'll show you that live here in just a second. Okay, it's a lot of it's about not only saving time, but the reason why these are cool is then it keeps you out of things that aren't as high probability, okay? Because this Laguerre is a phenomenal trigger. All right, so let's go to some live charts here. All right, so we talked about, let me bring up the ES here first. We talked about it, but let me hide this for right now. So if we look at the live charts, right, again, the trend is up. Okay, you can also tell the thing about the Bollinger Band is the Bollinger Band slanted up as well. Okay, some of you might say, well, yes, Dr. Keith, but from right here to right here, this is kind of sideways. That could be true as well. I will trade sideways markets as well, but I have a hard time taking shorts right now on the indexes because these two would have worked. Absolutely, right here and right here. But just from the historical data perspective, and we're in a bull market right now, believe it or not, I just wait for the next long trigger because I trade all markets, I trade futures, Forex, and stocks. There's so much stuff to trade. I just wait for the highest probabilities, okay? So what I'm going to show you here is some examples from stocks, futures, and Forex, because I know I have a combination of you folks here, okay? So Google. So what are your thoughts on Google, first of all, folks? Uptrend, downtrend, or sideways? Again, that's why I have specific rules, because everyone can think of it differently. But I mean, the Bollinger Bands are obviously heading up, right? So those are my favorite trades when you have a really defined trend, okay? Really defined trend. It rarely has been hitting that bottom band. If it comes close, it's been bouncing. In fact, here it did, and it bounced right back up, right? That's a bull market on Google, isn't it? So let's look at this. So right here, I'm going to skip this because at this point, we weren't sure on the trend, let's say. I'm going to skip this because this is a little bit more aggressive, okay? Skip this one because it was right at earnings. Right here. If you got in, it's the next day of the close. I've been right here for a long play, okay? So let me make that clear here. So based off of that, you would have got in right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I should have drew a line for you all on that. So it closed above right here. So right here, I'm sorry, was when it closed. So this is when our entry is, okay? So sideways, again, once I do that, in this case, getting in at the middle band, my stop is right here. And I keep my stop. I don't move it with the band, okay? I don't try to make things complicated. You can, but I put it right at the band in this case because I was at the middle. Okay, I was at the middle, so I put my stop here. My profit target is going to be, if I'm only trading at one profit target, then, okay, I'm getting in, I'm getting out right here. Getting out right here. If I'm trading two, I'm getting here first and then here second. So it's depends on your strategy, okay? But you have to have a good risk reward there, okay? So anyway, so on that trade, took a little bit of heat, then it head back up, consolidated right here. Probably not at the original 2 here, okay? So it depends on how you manage that, okay? But right here and right here, perfect uptrend like I mentioned. If you get in at the middle band, you get out at the top of the band. You get in right here, middle band, you get out at the top. And again, if you're trading and you want to, let's say you're trading a 10 contract option play, if you want to get out 5 contracts and then put a break even stop, you can let some of these run, okay? There's a lot of ways to manage that money. I'm just trying to show you the strategies I'm using, that if I get in at the middle, I get out at the top and my stop is at the bottom. The only exception would be if you have a recent swing, I'll put my stop at the recent swing if I'm okay with that risk, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at soybeans for the futures market. So again, the question may be, you can always go back to about a year. So since May, it's been in an uptrend, right? First of all. So since May, we had a bottom here, and then the recent low here is higher, right? So we're in an uptrend now by definition. If you're going back to a year, though, I would call this more of a sideways market, okay, believe it or not. So I would still trade this, okay? But it's been in a recent uptrend here. Does everybody agree since June? Because right here defined it now as an uptrend, okay? So right here, and if you didn't know that back then, right, that's why I didn't put this here. I wouldn't have taken that because I didn't know that we're going to get in an uptrend there, okay? But a recent low, that's a pretty good indicator a lot of times that, okay, we're heading back up. But anyway, this is the trade right here I would have gotten into. I did get into, okay? And you can see what's nice about this is you've got it just hanging around that bottom Bollinger Band sideways. That's a reversal waiting to happen. And look at the fractal energy here. It's been rising. That's what I'm talking about, how I use this to say, okay, energy's rising. We're getting a trigger now on the RSI. This could be, that's the key word, could be a substantial move because the energy is coming into that market, okay? The energy is coming into that market right here, okay? It got to a low here, and now it was rising. Then we got the trigger on the RSI, and it made this beautiful move up, okay? And you'll see that when you back test your charts, they don't get much better than these type of trades. Okay, and this was just again, I just picked recent ones today. I was looking through them. Okay, perfect trade. Okay. Okay, so Broadcom just had this on the alert service last week. Did a nice option play on this, but let me explain why. So again, I'm going to consider this a range market over the last, since June, right? You probably all agree. So we were in an uptrend, had a pullback, now it's a flag, right? We're ranging. So it's an uptrend to a sideways market, okay? Now, you could have taken these shorts, but I didn't because I like the overall trend as an uptrend that's consolidating sideways, okay? I don't need to make money on both sides. I just don't. They're riskier trades, even though, yeah, looking back on them, sure they would have worked out, right? But we don't always have that luxury to look back, do we? You can't put the money back in your account. So anyway, trigger here, trigger here. This is the one I just took. Beautiful trigger, hit, nice move up today, but I actually got out yesterday right here, okay? Right here. I made an option play. I made 50%. Yes, probably could make 70, 80, 90% on this. But my style is to be conservative, high profitable. I don't worry about, in this particular case, that I could have made more. Because what if tomorrow something goes on and it starts down? Then all of a sudden you're either a break even, stop out, right? Or you lose money on that particular trade. So my option plays, which I won't go into today, you know, I'm pretty conservative. I try to get 50% in a week or so, typically is what happens, and then I'm out of the trade. But bottom line is high probability trade here on Broadcom, and this thing's going to continue higher. It might have a pullback at the recent when it hits that 323 level, and then if we get another long trigger like this, folks, I'll be doing it again. Okay, and you'll find it on your scan, which I'll show you in a minute. All right, so let's do another Forex pair, British pound yen. So again, we were basically, let me explain here. So here we were topping, right? There's a lot of support right here. I do like to look at that, a lot of support. So if you took this short here or this short here, and you're okay with your stop right there, okay, that's a pretty good play on a consolidation move, okay? But now here's my point. So let's say, you know, you made money on the down trade, okay? But now you're like, okay, are we reversing? So we have a double bottom here, but the bottom line is this low is higher than this one. So you're in a defined uptrend now, and then so is this, right? And that's the one that I took recently. This was just a little aggressive for me because I'm like, yeah, it's a higher low, so by definition I could take it, but this is a pretty massive downtrend, so I wanted to see a little bit more of a higher low, my personal preference, and I got it right here, okay? I also had trader sentiment that thought this was going lower. That's why I was highly confident we were going higher here, okay? So again, nice trigger here, following the rules. You can get out right at the top of the band there, or you can let it run, okay? So again, here's the trigger, let it run. And I'll get to questions here in just a moment. All right, US dollar, Mexican peso. So, you know, I think you're all probably going to agree just by looking. This is more of a range, right? More of a range. Now, there's been a lot of support right here. A lot of support right up here. So again, you can pick your poison here. You know, when you get a trigger like right here, when you're ranging, okay? Or if you don't like the price action, you know, you had one right here as well, right at the bottom of the band, okay? You can kind of pick your poison here on how many trades you want to make on a particular pair. But the bottom line is this thing was ranging, then it broke out. Now what I'm looking for is for it to head higher, okay? Natural gas. I'm just trying to throw in different markets here for you. Bear with me, I just have a slight delay here. Not sure why it's not coming. Oh, and I just clicked off it, so it'll probably leave again. Okay. All right. So natural gas, right? This is a rangy market, right? I put these dotted lines up here to show you, right? Here and here. This is definitely a sideways, has been a sideways market, but there's a lot of room from 2.7 to 2.1, okay? So again, when you hit these bottoms, you get to that support level and you get these triggers, there's a lot of room to run, okay? Then you get the short trigger. There's a lot of room to run. Then you get another long trigger, right? A lot of room to run, and it gapped up last couple of days. Sometimes you luck out, right? But, you know, the reason I wanted to show you this beautiful range chart is, you know, when you get to these bottoms and it just goes sideways, the Laguerre is programmed to trigger conservatively. So you know once you're getting in, you're probably there pretty good, okay? So if we got in right here, you know, I would have put my stop right here, okay? Right at that. You could have put it right at the bottom band, but why do that when my goal is, okay, we're getting that trend change now, so why risk more? Let's just put your stop right at that, below that wick, okay? I always go 5 ticks or so below that, okay? Then you got in, and if you stayed in this, right, I'd be out now. You don't want to stay in now because it's got to retrace at some point here, okay? But it's just by following the specific rules. And then Euro US dollar, and then I'll show you some of the scans. Okay, so Euro US dollar, again, when I look at this chart from left to right, this is a downtrend, right? Again, you've got lower highs now, right? Lower highs. So if you just look to take shorts, you might not have known it here. That's why I didn't put this one, okay? Well, right here is, right here. You're like, well, what about this one? Okay, again, this is why I'm showing you this chart. What do you think about this right here? What's different? So when we got this trigger short, this high is now higher than what it was here. So by definition now, if anything, I'm more in an uptrend. So you wouldn't take this short, okay? Just that simple rule will help you folks. Yes, you'll miss trades, but it'll help you stay out of those losing ones, okay? So once it broke up here, now we're waiting for long. So really what I'm looking for is this, right? Price to come back and then give me a long play. Make sense? Okay, so let me show you here a couple things. Let me bring back the slides for just a minute. Let's see here. It is all right. So one of the things that I offer as well is my favorite data mining trades throughout the year. Okay, and I put them in there because you got to put them in by something, right? I put them in by date, but I just want to show you specifically. So let's say Qualcomm. We're looking for longs on Qualcomm right here. Let me change the color again back here. We're from 1019 to 12.5, okay? 23 out of 27 years. That's not bad. There's better ones, okay? But that's not bad. So if you just went long on 1019 and got out at 12.5, or the last 27 years, that's made money 86% of the time, okay? But again, that's not how I'm actually trading it, right? I'm not going in right at 1019. Okay? What I'm doing is we're waiting, right, for that Laguerre anywhere, and I'll go in a week to 2 weeks early. Okay, so right around October, we look for longs. Once we get a Laguerre trigger, wham, we take it. Okay? If you don't get one, you don't take the trade during this. If you don't get one during this window, it's that simple. Okay? Okay, let's take a look here. QCOM. So we got a trigger on QCOM right here. Beautiful trade, right? The odds were that was going to happen, right? So again, I didn't just go in right here on 10-1, or I'm sorry, on 10-19, I'm sorry. I didn't go in, wait to go in here. I got in early on this case because I had my trigger, okay? So what a lot of folks have been doing, which I think is a really cool strategy, okay? Let me bring up the, sorry, I have a little bit of a delay here. Okay, so what a lot of clients do is they'll create watch lists each month from the data mining themselves, and then they just, when they get their triggers, they'll take them, okay? If you want to talk about a high probability trading system, come on, really? I mean, it's perfect, perfect. Okay, so here's what I just want to show you then on the chart as well, the entries. Okay, and again, the data mining, you know, have hundreds of these throughout the year, so you can create your watch list for each month if you wanted to. Okay, and look for, and again, this is for futures, forex, and stocks. Okay, here's an example too. Again, those of you that like to trade with seasonals as well, right? Got my custom seasonal indicator. This is off the weekly. I use my seasonals off the weekly. Look at this, just to show you here. Look at the blue line. This is what should be happening on Broadcom, Abgo right now, okay? And this is what happened today. But this move should not be surprising, okay? This happens year in and year out. So again, imagine, so once you got the trigger here, you know with high likelihood, right? It's better than your broker calling you up 10 years ago to say, hey, I got a tip for you, right? You've got it all right in front of you now, folks, okay? It's about patience and waiting for these trades. Okay, so let me go back here and show you how you can find these. So I'm going to bring up, these are the weeklies, those of you that trade options, okay? Once you load in this indicator, this script right here, okay, this is the script that I have coded. It'll bring in all the longs and shorts and neutrals for all the weeklies, which is like 500 of them immediately, okay? Then you can click on them and see if it's meeting the criteria that I just showed you, okay? So again, what you would do is let's just click on forward. Let me just delete this for you. You click on forward, the F, okay? See how it just showed you we had a trigger, right? From that. So out of all those 500 stocks, you can just go through the ones with the highest probabilities. Now in this case, it triggered right here, okay, right here. So the next day is when you get in, right? So this is higher than the middle band, so I wouldn't take this trade, okay? Because there's better ones. Why take it when price is already above the middle band when you can find trades that aren't, right? That's the way I look at these things. Let's say like, well, I want to create my own watch list. You can do that. Or let's say you trade futures. You go to public. You click on futures. See how quickly this will load in for you? And now you got your long triggers on your futures and your short triggers. And the rest are neutral. Okay, you can sort. You can click on these and sort. But let's say you want to focus in on FX. See all the FX here. See that? All the FX. And again, you can sort so that you have them all together. You know, or if you want, whatever you decide to trade by industry. Let's say you want to look at the utilities. And you select the gas utilities, okay? See how it's loading, comes in right away here. And then you can say, okay, APU. I got a trigger. Remember, it stays in there for 2 days, right? And here's a good example where you would ignore it, right? Because we basically have been really consolidating or to the downside. So what I'd be looking for is this. right? A retracement, and then look to short this, okay? That's the highest probability site. But real quickly, you can go through whichever you're looking for, okay? Whichever you're looking for. And get your best opportunities using specific rules. That's where most people fail. Sorry about that. My hand's shaking, I guess, today. There we go. So that, that's what a lot of people don't have a specific system. So they just they watch something on the news, or somebody said this might. I don't know, folks. Use specific systems. Okay. Absolutely ETFs. So I don't know if there. Let's see here. Is there an ETF? Let's see. Public. All ETFs. See them all? They're all loading in there. Okay. And then see them loading. There's a lot. So they're loading, but then you can click on, okay, here's an ETF of JPMB, whatever the heck this one is. Okay. We just got a short signal. Okay. Again, beautiful technology. It saves you time and allows you to make decisions really quickly with high accuracy. Okay, that's the beauty of this, right? Okay. All right, so basically what I'm offering, folks, is, in fact, before I do that, let me see if there's any questions that I haven't answered yet. Let's see. This is for Thinkorswim, okay? And the beautiful thing about Thinkorswim, folks, it has that scanning powerful, okay? Now, you can, if you use others, I know others that use different brokers, that's fine. You can even just create a free account with Thinkorswim, right, and use this. So it doesn't have to cost you anything. You can look for your scans on Thinkorswim, then place your trades with whichever broker you want. Maybe you have a retirement account on Fidelity, for example. Okay. Let's see. I answered that about ETFs. Okay. I think I've answered all the questions. If you have any more, put them in the chat. This is all for Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim. Yep. If you use Ninja, you can email me separate. I don't do that publicly because I don't have that on the website yet, but I also have most of it for Ninja as well, Ninja 8, okay? But it's designed for the power of those scripts and so forth is Thinkorswim. And again, free accounts, I would definitely suggest that. All right, so I think I've answered all those questions. All right, so basically, what I'm looking at here, 50% off on the Laguerre package. Okay, again, what it comes with is what I just showed you. The Laguerre, the Fractal Energy, and that scanner, okay, which that itself is worth way more, folks, okay, that scanner. But anyway, so if you purchase it, we're going to do the recording. Bear with me one second, I hit the wrong button. So the recording here will have all this in there as well, okay? What I'm trying to do is grab this link and I can paste it in there for you in the chat. Okay, you should be able to see that link if you want to click on that link there. This is for the Laguerre and the scanner, half off right now at $249, okay? But the first 20 folks who purchase it will also get a free 30-minute one-on-one appointment with me. What you can do is once you purchase it, you can email me and we'll set up a time. We'll get it set up for you. I mean, it's easy to set up, but then I can answer any questions you have. We'll go in via Zoom or go to meeting, and you have 30 minutes of my undivided attention. I'll talk about anything you want, okay? For the first 20 folks that sign up with there, I did put the link again in the Zoom chat. It'll also go out with the recording as well, okay? And if you're interested in any of the data mining that I was showing you, again, one of my doctor friends, he's an oral surgeon, and I spent a lot of time with him, mentoring him. And he's created a custom watch list of just the 90% or higher odds over 20 years of trades that I have on my data mining. And he trades Forex and stocks. He is killing it. So that's always an option as well if you're interested in just focusing on the highest probability. You'll see this. Again, I'm going to paste this all in the chat for you, or if you definitely want that seasonal indicator. But what I'm going to do is I am going to post it all in the chat, but it will all be in the recording that's going to be sent out to you all as well. Okay, so no worries there. And one question is, well, how do you load this information in? When you purchase it, you get a video walking you through how to do it. One, it's really, really simple, but we also walk you through the steps of how to do that, okay? It'll literally take you less than 5 minutes, okay? Very, very simple to do. All right, any questions? And this is the email. Let me bring it up here. support@seasonaltraderpro.com. You can call us or make sure you're looking at our Facebook page as well. But I appreciate your time today. I'm actually very happy that I kept it to an hour. Those of you that do use just NT8, you can send me a separate email. But those of you that don't use either, I definitely recommend getting a free login for Thinkorswim. A lot of things I'm going to be showing you in the future. Thinkorswim has some powerful features, folks. You know, for example, when I trade Forex, I'll use MT4 or NinjaTrader to place my live trades, but I still do all of my searches and so forth in Thinkorswim, okay? For the ETFs, you can do the stocks for bulls or bears, okay? Great question. So Al asked if I can do a presentation in the future, this exact Laguerre, but on shorter time frames, almost make it like a day trading. Absolutely. I'll make a note of that, and I'll do one in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay? All right. Well, thank you, folks. Again, I appreciate it. We will be sending out the recording today. That'll have the links as well. I also put the links in the chat if you're interested. Other than that, again, keep in touch, and I'll see you all next week. Next week, by the way, we're going to be doing a live presentation on spread trading and some of the advantages of trading spreads, future spreads, okay? Unbelievable seasonal patterns in spread trading. For example, you know, trading 1 month contract, let's say the January contract of crude oil versus the April contract of crude. Your margins are, I mean, you can trade it with a $5,000 account. It's a great way to build your income up as well. So we're going to be doing that next Tuesday. You'll see that soon, okay? Yes, the scanner works for any list you have, Ron. So whether it's the ones that are already in Thinkorswim, or you create custom, like my doctor friend who has one for just the data mining, he calls it, by month. You then just load it right on in, and it's there immediately, okay? Yeah, the recording will be sent out probably within the hour. It takes a few minutes to upload, and then they'll send it out to you. All right, folks. Again, I wish you the best. Thanks so much for attending. Best of luck.